Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Past Pirate Pay, the movie discussion show. My name is Ken. I'm your host alongside my co-host, Andy. Andy, how you doing?
Pretty good. How you, Ken?
Excellent. We have a special episode this week.
Yes, we do.
For the first time ever, we've got ourselves a guest.
Yeah.
Our friend Danny Jackson is here.
I didn't know. I'm the first guest.
You're the first guest.
ever guest.
Oh, no.
That's
Setting the
right.
bar low.
Danny, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on such a diverse show, both with the films and the group. It's such a diverse show, so I'm very excited to be here.
Right. We've got a middle-aged fat white guy and then a slightly more middle-aged, slightly fatter white guy. And then,
Yeah, really ran the gambit. Middle-aged white guy.
Yeah, so this week, as middle-aged white guys, we decided to do something near and dear to all of our hearts, and that is movies of the 1980s.
Right, but not just any movies.
That's right. We are going deep into the 1980s. We're going with forgotten classics. And so what we've done is we've each picked a movie, and we're going to talk about our thoughts on all three of those movies.
Yeah.
So this week we've got Danny's selection is 1986's Lucas. Andy, you picked 1984's Cloak and Dagger, and my pick was 1987's Back to the Beach.
Okay.
So let's get right into it. Danny, you're the guest, so I think we should start with your movie. We're gonna go into Lucas.
So before we start, we made sure that the other two hadn't seen the one, or at least a very long time.
Right, very long time ago. Yeah, I had not seen either of your two movies.
Okay, I had not seen either of yours.
Yeah, so this is good. We're coming in fresh, which is going to be interesting, right? Because I feel like a lot of the value of these movies for us is going to be nostalgia. So seeing what the other guys think without the benefit of nostalgia should be pretty interesting.
I was thinking that as I was watching them, actually.
Yes, I thought about that during your movie, actually, Andy. I was like, I should have watched. Maybe if I watched this as a kid, I would have enjoyed this.
Well, that's
spoiler.
That's going to be fun. We'll get into that soon enough. But let's start off with Danny's, right? 1986. Lucas is directed by David Seltzer. This movie stars a very young Corey Haim.
Very young, everybody.
Very young as the titular Lucas. He's a dorky kid. He's got a crush on an older girl played by Carrie Green, best known for The Goonies.
Yeah, she was Andy in The Goonies.
Yeah. But she does not feel the same way about Lucas, and eventually she falls in love with Lucas's friend, jock football player Charlie Sheen. And it's a movie about the pain of growing up and falling in love and not having your love returned to you. Unrequited love.
Yeah.
So my thought on this movie was it's like two movies for me. The first half of this movie is excellent, I think. Everything up until Lucas plays football. I was like, wow, this movie is incredible.
I'm there too. I don't understand why they felt he needed to do that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the first half of this movie is really, really great. Like when we're first introduced to Lucas, he collects bugs. He loves to go out in nature and look at bugs. And there are these locusts that are coming into town that they're only there every 17 years or something like that. So it's like it's his moment to see all these locusts coming around.
He really romanticizes it too.
Yeah. But you see,
you know who else romanticizes locusts? NPR.
Oh, is that true?
Oh my God! Every time it's locust time, they have experts on talking about it. It's all about I
bet those people all grew up watching Lucas.
I bet.
But yeah, so when we're first introduced to him, you see he's got this like ridiculous fisherman's hat on and his giant backpack, and you just it's a tremendous achievement in costume design, right? You take one look at this kid and you're like, oh, this kid's a fucking weirdo. Right?
Yeah.
Like he's just
but a lovable one.
Right, exactly. He's like a super weird, interesting kid that you just know is going to have a miserable time in high school, right? And it's just you see this by just looking at him, right?
Yeah.
He's also like really extroverted for being like such a dork.
Yeah.
Because that's what he basically like kind of doesn't come on to the girl, but he's the one that's like very forward with her and makes like all the moves and for a nerd, like that's different.
That's bold.
He takes her down into the sewers, which leads to my theory that the reason Carrie Green didn't have a successful movie career is because she could only do movies where she was required to go into the sewers.
Right. Yeah.
But no, yeah, like they're down in the sewer system and they come up this manhole in the middle of a field where there's a philharmonic doing a symphony, and so they're down in the sewer listening to this symphony orchestra playing, and it's very sweet, it's very romantic. So yeah, your point about him being extrovert is really strange, because there's a scene with a pep rally in school, and all these football players are brought up onto the stage, and then Lucas just like gets caught up in the whole mix, and he's up on the stage like trying to get laughs and stuff. He gets a tremendous amount of mileage on the "get a load of this guy" gesture.
Right. He does. Yes.
Like,
kids love that.
He does it like 6 times. Every time he does it, everybody's laughing. But yeah, I mean, all the football players are basically picking on him because he's the kind of guy that he is, but he seems to be enjoying the spotlight of being up on the stage with everybody. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, every nerd I grew up with, like nobody was extroverted like that. Like that would be you would just want to melt off of the stage.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's
right. Like
if you're a nerd, like the last thing you want to do is stand out.
I was a super nerd in high school, and my goal was never to be noticed by anybody.
Just be invisible.
Yeah, just never, just stay away. I don't want people knowing that I exist, because if they see me, only bad things can happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that stuff was really interesting. It's kind of cool that he has this friendship with the Charlie Sheen character.
Yeah.
And Charlie Sheen like could be like that sort of like the jerk jock, but he's like the jock with the heart of gold.
Yeah, he's like a really good guy.
Yeah, just a nice
also
dude.
happens to be like the star player on the football team. As compared
I knew guys like that.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not.
I did. I knew some assholes, a majority of assholes, but there were a couple that were good, still good friends of mine. Yeah,
there's a big contrast played between Charlie Sheen and the guy who plays the quarterback of the football team, who is constantly picking on Lucas, and it's just like he's the William Zabka type guy that we should be that we're used to seeing in 80s movies. But Charlie Sheen is like this good guy. And so this is a thing that I was not prepared for. I don't like Charlie Sheen as an actor. I never find him believable. I don't like the way he like delivers lines of dialogue as a general rule.
Yeah.
But I think he's really good in this movie.
I thought he's pretty good too.
Like there's a scene where Carrie Green and he are doing laundry because like they make a mess in home ec. So he has to wash his clothes, and there's this weird laundry room in the school.
And he has to have his shirt off the whole time.
Yeah. But there's like this like cool romantic scene between the two of them. And I thought it was like really excellent.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well written and really well acted. And it just makes me think like, how did these two people, like Charlie Sheen had a good career, but like he's not a good actor. He's never been considered a good actor.
No, he never took decent roles.
Right. My always go to when I'm thinking about Charlie Sheen is Platoon. Like I think Platoon, I don't like it as a movie, and I think a big part of the reason why it doesn't work is because Charlie Sheen is just not up for whatever he is required to have done in that movie. And then everything he did after that is where he's just like the cocky asshole guy that he never really stretches again after that.
Full of tiger's blood.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So in this movie, and like Carrie Green, women in Hollywood there's no shortage of reasons why her career couldn't have been better. But like watching that scene, I was like, wow, I feel like we really missed something with these two people because they're both really great. And so yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Like there's a timeline somewhere where they're really awesome.
Yeah.
And they had a really long career with doing awesome stuff.
Right. They could have done like a Silver Linings Playbook type movie together. Like they had chemistry.
Yeah, for
and they
sure.
could have done something.
For sure. Like so Winona Ryder is in this movie, and she is very, very young.
I think she's 14.
She's like the
When did Beetlejuice come out?
That came out in 88? Yeah, 88.
And this was 86.
So it's 2 years later.
Okay.
So yeah, she's like the female version of Lucas. She's
like Boof. She's the Boof of the movie.
Who is Boof?
From Teen Wolf. Like she's the Michael J. Fox in Teen Wolf is always looking towards the blonde girl. I forgot her name. And then like Boof is there the whole time, like interested in him, but like he doesn't really realize it until the end. I don't know if Lucas realizes it at the end of this movie.
Right. But
she's kind of that Boof type character.
But yeah, so I was thinking like why couldn't Carrie Green have had Winona Ryder's career, right?
Sure.
Like she's beautiful and she's clearly a good actor. It's just very strange to me. But yeah, the Winona Ryder thing is really, really. She's great in this movie. I think.
Yeah, she's
I think
also
like,
very good.
It goes to the point where Lucas is kind of an asshole because she's clearly got this huge crush on him, and she's like constantly going up to him, asking him if he wants to do stuff, and it's like he's just wants nothing to do with her because he's just too busy being obsessed with the more obviously pretty girl.
Yeah.
There's a really funny scene where she and Lucas are having this conversation about like ugly duckling stuff, where it's like one day maybe this nerdy people will become beautiful or whatever, and you think about the fact that this is Corey Haim and Winona Ryder,
right?
like Corey Haim became a heartthrob like what 2 years after this, maybe 1 year after this,
yeah.
And then Winona Ryder is a beautiful woman for decades after this, and it's just like here are these two dorky kids talking about how maybe someday they'll get to be beautiful, but watching it with the benefit of 2025 eyes, it's like, oh yeah, I think you will. I think the two of you will be okay. But yeah, so I really enjoyed all of that stuff.
At what point did it? So the football game was where it turned.
It's the football.
What I thought was really egregious was where they start hinting that he's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just to make the football joke. Just to go, it's suicide. He joined the football team.
It's so the climactic football game is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in any movie ever. In this,
yeah,
thing. Like
because he's playing like games with the coach, and like they're chasing him around the field to try to get him off. It's silly.
It's really silly. Yeah. It's really, really dumb, and it's like,
and for some reason they can't take him out.
Yeah. Right.
It can't come out.
Some rule.
Like got to stay in.
It's like the people who made this movie had like just decided to completely ignore any kind of rules of football. Like maybe like it's not
it's
even
worse than Gus.
It's not even like they're like people from Europe or whatever who have never seen a football game. Like I feel like these people know football and just actively decided to ignore everything that actually happens in a football game. It's totally insane. So Lucas is running around all over the place. He's wearing this helmet that doesn't actually fit him because he's so small. And then inevitably, so the quarterback heaves a ball downfield to Lucas, and he makes the big catch, and you think he might have a chance to be the hero, but no, he just gets absolutely obliterated by the other football team. The helmet comes off. He's concussed and
it's a really
possibly
violent
dead.
Scene.
Yeah,
it's like I remember as a kid, it like shocked me because the movie was so like wholesome.
Yeah.
Up until that moment, and you're like, oh no, did he die?
Yeah.
Like it's a really violent like scene for an 80s movie like that.
It just seems to me like they went through all of this work, like developing real character for all of these people, and then we're like, well, what do we do with all of this with the emotions that we built up and everything? And you're like,
slow clap football scene at the end.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh man, that's where the movie turns back around for me.
Totally brutal. Yeah. So Lucas. Spoiler alert, I guess. Lucas gets out of the hospital because he's hospitalized from his injuries.
Yeah, it's where the reveal is that he's not wealthy and that he's like a poor kid in a trailer.
Yeah, because he's claiming
he's lying about everything.
He's claiming that his dad is a lawyer the whole time.
And they don't give anything away throughout the movie about that.
Right.
I mean, you can kind of maybe figure it out.
I knew what was going on.
It came as a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought he was just eccentric and he had an abusive home life or something.
Oh, really?
But I didn't think he was lying about everything.
I just assumed that since he was so adamant that nobody could come to his house, that wasn't really his house. That was my assumption the whole time. But yeah, so it's revealed that he's actually a poor kid and his dad is an alcoholic and they live in a trailer. But yeah, so then Lucas eventually comes back to school, and when he comes back, everybody, like all of the jocks and everybody, are staring at him. And then he opens up his locker and pulls out a football jacket with his name, like a Letterman jacket with his name on the back. And sure enough, God damn it, everybody just like,
yep. Oh,
and it just builds and builds, and it's like, I'm so mad right now. Like,
I like that scene.
Yeah,
it's I don't think of the movie as anything more than it's just like a wholesome 80s
I don't
movie,
think at the time that was a cliche.
No.
Yeah.
I think a lot of 80s movies cliches were started here.
Yeah.
Like this felt like a parody of an 80s movie, but it was actually like laying the groundwork.
The thing is, like, I don't hate the slow clap scene because I think it's cliche. I hate it because it's so ridiculously stupid. Like, just come on. What are you doing? All of a sudden, like, all of a sudden, these football players who are complete jerks the entire time, they're like, oh, well, he lost us the game, but he did get concussed and now he's walking again. So he has our respect. Like, give me a break, man. Like, I don't know. The first half of this movie is so well observed. Like, I feel like I know or I remember from high school seeing the kinds of people that are the characters in this movie.
Yeah.
And then to just throw it all away for this ridiculous slow clap moment it's so infuriating to me. I was so angry about it because I really was enjoying the movie a lot until it went off the rails.
So what about you, Danny? Is it all perfect for you in your mind?
Well, yeah, because again, it was a movie I watched as a kid, and I've always like introduced people to the film because it's always my sneaky 80s movie that a lot of people haven't watched.
Uh-huh.
And then when it's easy to sell to people too, oh yeah, Corey Haim's in it, Winona Ryder, Charlie Sheen. It's like middle of the 80s. It feels like a very wholesome 80s movie. So yeah, the end and the swerve at the end with the injury and the slow clap, it's all part of the magic of the movie for me.
Yeah.
But again, it's a nostalgia thing more than anything because hearing Ken talk about it this whole time, I'm like, oh yeah, it does kind of suck at the end. It is that is kind of lame. But me just getting caught up in I'm showing somebody new this movie that I really love that they don't know about. I think it's perfect, but yeah.
You know what's weird is I'm pretty sure I'd never seen it. Mm-hmm. There's a chance I could have seen it and just kind of forgot. But I do remember all the homophobic jokes, the locker room jokes happening to me in my life.
Ah, okay.
I remember hearing that in PE class.
Yeah.
Because he decided to fight homophobic jokes with more homophobic jokes.
Yeah.
And also Jeremy Piven in this, it's a real stretch. He plays this giant asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
And he never played a role like that ever again.
So daring.
It was kind of jarring to me to see him as like a cool guy, like a jock. Like Jeremy Piven is your football player guy.
I remember watching it going, is that fucking Piven?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very strange. Courtney Thorne-Smith also appears in this movie.
Who is Courtney Thorne-Smith?
She's a Melrose Place girl, right?
Yeah, she was...
I remember. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my best knowledge of Courtney Thorne-Smith is
that Norm Macdonald clip?
Exactly.
That's a great clip.
Yeah, because she was...
Have you seen that?
She was on the Carrot... She was in the Carrot Top movie, Chairman of the Board.
And it's Bored.
Yeah, and so she's on Conan... the same night that Norm Macdonald was on.
And Norm Macdonald just tears into it.
Taking pot shots at her all
and
night
it gets
long.
better and better and better, that clip.
Yeah, it's really funny. So that's what I think of when I think of Courtney Thorne-Smith. But here she is just as Charlie Sheen's, cheerleader girlfriend.
Well, how do you feel about the movie, Andy?
I think about the same thing that Ken thought. I thought it was a little cheese dick, but I definitely, even though I did not grow up with it, I felt the nostalgia of the 80s because it was so quintessentially an 80s movie.
Yeah, right. Even all the way down to the soundtrack.
The soundtrack especially.
Yep.
Yeah, all those synthesizers and shit.
Yeah, I really was not into the music in this movie at all.
Do you like new wave, 80s new wave?
I do, yeah.
Yeah?
I do, but I just don't feel like the score of this movie is good. Like, the scene in the laundry room that I was talking about, I was like, man, I really wish they didn't have music in this scene because it was like a little too cheesy for what the scene was going for. I thought, I just
thought it all fed into.
And then when and then once the football scene starts and then the slow clap, it's like the music is just like, oh my god, you're doing too much with this music. It's really horrible.
I also thought it was kind of cool how they handled the unrequited love and the relationship between the girl and Charlie Sheen.
Yeah,
and how Lucas handled that.
Yeah,
because he very well could have handled it toxically.
Yeah.
Most of us do.
Right. Right.
But he didn't. He kind of, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's really interesting. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie. It was just like, this is why I found the ending to be so upsetting. you know.
Yeah, it didn't stick the landing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not for me.
But a sucker for you, huh?
Always, yeah. But again, it's a movie I've loved my whole life. So.
Yeah, you can definitely notice that you have the blinders on.
Yeah,
because I noticed that about a lot of movies that I like.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Ken,
Yeah.
is that all you got for this?
Yeah, that's what I got.
All right, so would you give Lucas a pass, pirate, or pay?
It's right on the line for me.
Okay.
So I think, Danny's here. He's a friend. It's his first time. I'm going to bump it up to pay. It's right on the pirate pay line for me, and I think I'm going to go give it a pay. There's enough good stuff in the beginning to overcome the bad stuff at the end, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a pay for me.
I had it as I assumed you guys would say it was a pirate. Because I know it's not a bad movie, but I also know how the end turns out. So I was like, oh, it'll probably be pirate. So that makes me very pleasantly surprised, even though I think it would be a pirate.
I'll go for pirate.
Yeah. I think that's a fair score for it.
I'm a pirate. Like, as far as 80s movies go, like in the pantheon of great 80s movies, it's not near the top.
Sure.
But it's worth watching.
Yeah.
So I would give it a pirate for sure.
It's very personal to me. I like it's a really great 80s movie to me, but I didn't care if anybody else liked it. I was like, this is what I love, so you guys
sure. That's the whole point of this show was.
Yeah,
perfect.
Well, you get to weigh in too, Danny. So I mean, I think I know what your answer is, but what do you think?
Mine's a pay, but I understand if you feel like it's a pirate. I get
it. All right, so that's that.
That's Lucas. All right, our second movie today, Andy, we're going to go with yours.
Okay.
1984's Cloak and Dagger. It's directed by Richard Franklin.
Yeah.
I found out later on, I'd never heard of this movie. And one of the things that
I was surprised that nobody had. Yeah. I remember we talked about this at poker, and Danny asked, like, what's your favorite, 80s movies that no one's heard of? I said, Cloak and Dagger. And then nobody'd seen it.
No idea. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's, I later learned that it is based on an actual video game. Because as I was watching,
I think I had it.
As I was watching the movie, I was like, I wonder if that's a real game. That looks kind of fun. It seems like it's kind of like in the Asteroids kind of vein,
or Berserker.
Yeah, where you're spinning around, shooting at things. And it looked like it was a really fun game. But yeah, so it's this movie about a kid who has an overactive imagination. And he's imagining that he's always in conversation with Jack Flack, who is a super spy.
Is it Flack? I thought it was Black.
No, it's Jack Flack.
Flack?
Jack Flack, yeah. So Davey, he's the kid. He's always imagining Jack Flack, who's like James Bond, I guess, except as played by Dabney Coleman.
Action star Dabney Coleman.
Yeah. Isn't that Major Dad?
Yeah, he was. No,
he was not Major Dad.
That's Gerald McCraney. Yeah.
That's right. They're very similar, though. Mustaches, right?
But yeah, there was another sitcom in the same kind of vein that Dabney Coleman was in, and right around that same time, I think.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he was certainly around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the story is Davey he's on a mission for this hacker nerd adult that he sometimes hangs out with.
Uh-huh.
Davey is played by the kid who plays Henry Thomas, the kid who plays Elliot in E.T.
Right, this was shortly after E.T., right?
Yeah, and I kept thinking, because there's a little blonde girl that he hangs around with in this movie, and I was
what was she in?
I guess Drew Barrymore was too busy to be in this one too, because the little blonde girl in this one is not quite so good.
I think Drew Barrymore was on heroin.
Yeah, she was already 2 years into her drug career.
She was 10.
This movie is 2 years after E.T., so you're right. Drew Barrymore could have already been started down the dark path.
She was doing lines at the Viper Room when this movie was getting made.
But yeah, so he finds himself in the middle of some espionage intrigue where he's in this building. He walks into this building that looks like a bank, and he's got this squirt gun that looks exactly like a real gun.
This was a different time.
And he's just waving it around, and there's a security guard in the lobby of this building.
Which it shows you how different of a time it is.
Right?
Because in today's world, if a kid came in with a gun that looked like that, it would cause mayhem.
Right, yeah.
Waving it around in a public place.
As a kid, I was a street kid. I would go play all day, and I would have toy guns in my in my back pockets. I'd go into liquor stores with them, and nobody thought anything of it.
It must be, I don't know, just growing up in a different place or whatever. But when I was a kid, I mean, I'm only a couple years younger than you guys. It's all of the squirt guns that I ever had were like green. Like I never had any toy guns that looked like real guns.
I had toy guns that like airsoft guns that shot the little pellets that looked like real guns.
Yeah, really? Yeah, see, I never
had
that.
Out here in the West.
A little different than the way
West.
you used to it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Different than you Yanks. That's right.
But yeah, so he finds himself in the middle of some kind of plot because he sees this doctor guy or somebody get murdered, and as the guy is getting murdered, he hands him a cartridge of the game Cloak and Dagger.
Right.
And then Davey just, he runs away from the bad guys who have murdered this doctor guy, and then we're off and running, and it's we're trying to keep this game cartridge out of the wrong hands, and it's the whole movie. So as I'm watching this movie, the moment that the guy who's dying hands Davey the cartridge, and we see that he's going to be caught up in this whole thing, I was like, this is a Hitchcock movie. We are making a Hitchcock movie for kids. Like, that's what this is. This is like North by Northwest with kids and Atari games. And then it's like, as it goes on, it's just like, wow, this is actually what it seems like is, what if Steven Spielberg decided to put his hands into a Hitchcock movie? Yeah. That's what it strikes me. It seems like a love child of a Hitchcock movie.
I didn't even get the Hitchcock thing, but it makes a lot of sense now.
It felt so Hitchcocky to me.
Yeah.
Like just this kid caught up in this situation that he's really not prepared for. He's in over his head, and he's got to try to escape all of these various tight situations. It's that's what it seemed like to me. But yeah, so the whole time as he's constantly trying to escape these bad guys who are trying to get him, he keeps seeing visions of Jack Flack, Dabney Coleman, who's trying to help him to be this super spy guy,
right?
And yeah, that's basically what happens in this movie. Yeah, so this movie, like I said, I had never heard of it, and I feel like this one of all these movies, if I had seen this movie when I was 5 years old, I would have watched it 100 times.
I think I did.
It just seems like it's so much fun.
Especially like if you're into Atari, like I was totally into Atari. And another thing that like grabbed me about this movie when I was a kid was the danger felt real.
Oh yeah.
Like the danger felt like scary and real for a kid. These bad guys coming after him were like really cold.
Yeah. I mean, it really is scary, right? Like, because it's a kid's movie, right? But like I said, he's got this hacker friend, and he gives the guy the Cloak and Dagger, the MacGuffin Cloak and Dagger game, to see what to do with it. And like the guy is murdered.
And then he's stuck in a trunk with him.
Yeah,
that was really awful.
The kid is stuck in the trunk with this dead body, trying to it's creepy. It's scary as hell. But at the same time, it's got this ridiculous kid thing where it's like, the way to access this super classified information is by being really good at a video game. Like the only way you could do it is if you achieve a certain level on the game, and that's when you can access this classified information.
Like these bad guys are like really trying hard to pass this level.
Right. It's totally insane.
When you're a kid though, like you don't think about that shit. The suspension of disbelief is like right there. Right. It's there.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this movie does do a really good job of feeling like very dangerous. Like, there is towards the end of the movie, there's a ticking time bomb, and like it is used to like really good dramatic effect. Like this is he's racing against the clock, or his friend is going to get blown up. This is like, and the danger felt really real, and it felt like a really good job of escalating the tension in this movie.
A part that I did when I was a kid that really like grabbed me too was the two old people.
Oh yeah,
like being part of it.
Yeah,
like that really zigged when I didn't think it was gonna do that. Like, whoa.
Yeah,
but you got 3 fingers, and that was creepy.
Yep. Yeah, the thing that the really craziest thing to me was, so Davey at some point comes across, he's got a real gun, and the bad guy is pointing his gun at Davey, telling him, hey, I'm
gonna shoot your kneecaps off.
Yeah, he's like, he's gonna like to the pain him.
Yeah, to the pain.
But yeah, so he's like making all these menacing remarks and pointing this like Uzi at him.
Yeah,
and then somehow Jack Flack like manifests himself and gets the guy to shoot at his imaginary friend.
Yeah.
So as the guy is like unloading all of these bullets into a brick wall where Jack Black is supposed to be, then Davey like takes his own gun and shoots the guy. He actually takes a gun and kills the dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me. Like this movie where it's just like, okay, now the 8-year-old kid gets out of the danger by murdering the guy who's trying to get him.
Yeah, Jack Flack said it has to happen.
It has to happen.
That's how you got to take him out.
Right. At least the movie is grounded enough to be like, after he kills the guy, he's like, I don't want to play anymore. Like, and he like basically tells Jack Black that he's done with him. And he's just like, he's not gonna see him as his imaginary friend anymore. He's just like, yeah, now that I've killed this guy, this game is not so much fun anymore.
Shit just got real.
Yeah, like really real. But yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. I definitely. I mean, it's insane and ridiculous.
Sure,
but for sure, I really found it to be a fun ride. I was really enjoying it.
I thought Dabney Coleman did a pretty good job doing the dual roles as the dad and Jack Flack.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Because like he's envisioning Jack Flack as like the dad that he wants to have.
Right. Yeah, you know? Exactly. So yeah, the backstory is that the mom died, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so Davey's mom has recently died, and so his dad, who is also played by Dabney Coleman, is like trying to deal with this thing as a newly single father and like make the kid, you know, feel at home or whatever. But he's also imagining, like you said, he's imagining the dad that he wants to have, who's this cool adventure guy.
Yeah.
Whereas his dad, who's his actual dad, who's really in the Air Force, is just a boring like suit, you know.
Yeah.
Not really doing anything.
Research and development.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, there's some really cool like images and stuff. Like there's a scene, the first scene of the movie where we see Jack Flack doing his espionage thing.
Yeah,
and like he's in this dangerous situation where he's trapped. Is like, how's he going to get out of this danger? And then all of a sudden you see these two giant Dungeons and Dragons dice come rolling along, and that's how you realize that they're just playing this game with these dice, you know, getting out of the situation. But you know, Jack Flack, he always escapes. That's who he is.
So I'm curious of what Danny thinks about this movie.
Danny, you're being quiet on this one.
Not quiet. Just wait. I'm letting it cook. Letting you guys cook. So I didn't know about this. I never had heard about this movie. How did it do? Do we know how it did in the box office?
I don't know. I know critically it was like lukewarm. It was like in the 60s on Rotten Tomatoes.
So the first night we tried to watch it like 2 weeks ago, I took too many gummies and I fell asleep halfway through it. But my whole family watched it and they were like howling with laughter at just how like silly it was. They thought it was silly. I think of it as, and then I finished watching it the next day, and so to me, it's the same. It's in the same vein of like fetish fantasy that like The Mule is to like elderly people, like the Clint Eastwood movie, The Mule.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like fantasy to them. Like, oh, I. Could
it was. I definitely felt that way when I was a kid.
As a kid, yeah, you're like.
When I was a kid, I was putting myself in those shoes, and it was just really cool to think that way. Yeah.
And once I did that with the film, once I thought about it through the eyes of like 8-year-old me, I was like, oh, this movie would be incredible. Like,
yeah.
But watching it at 46. I was just like, this is dumb. Like, I kind of the way that I showed one of my kids The Goonies for the first time years ago. And my son loved it. Like, it's one of his favorite movies. But Emma was just like, it's fine. It's like an 80s movie. And I was like, what? I was like offended by it. But then like Tony always reminds me, like, it's movies like that are different when you just come into them as an adult. Like, it's harder for us to like let go and just like enjoy like a good kids movie. And when I look at the movie that way, like as an 8-year-old, yeah, it's a fun movie. But as a 46-year-old, I was like, I'm going to take a nap here during this thing. But I didn't hate it. It just wasn't my favorite thing. But they all can't be winners.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that this was a kids movie that doesn't talk down to kids. It just, it seemed like... I mean,
no, especially with the bad guys.
Yeah.
Like the bad guys felt really mature.
Actually, that was probably my favorite part of the movie, where the bad guys were like, they belonged in like, they were like bad guys that should have been like in like a Lethal Weapon movie.
Yeah, like these guys were, or at least like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, they were more a little more serious.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like this is a movie that meets kids on their level rather than talking down to them. It's just I don't know. It's it's a good kids movie. I you know, the fact that I'm in my 40s doesn't change the fact that a good movie is a good movie, and this movie's good.
It may have been the gummies then. The gummies may have skewed my view on it.
One thing I thought was really interesting in this movie was the climax of the movie takes place at an airport, and watching pre 9/11 airport security procedures is like totally ridiculous.
This guy's going into the airport with Crocodile Dundee knives.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're just smuggling a bomb into onto this plane, and the guy's like, he's got it in his bag, and he's like, "Don't put this bomb through your X-ray machine, please." Oh, okay.
I remember my dad would go. We'd go to the airport to like pick his brothers up when they'd. And my dad in the 80s carried like a Crocodile Dundee knife. And I remember my dad getting to bring it to the airport. It wasn't like a big deal. So watch it. Yeah. Anytime you see it on TV, you're like, it was really like that. You just go walk and meet somebody coming right off the plane.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Yeah. That's the thing you see in like old TV shows and old movies all the time, where it's just like somebody gets off the plane and the person is just standing there right at the gate because you could just walk right up to it.
We used to go caroling just for fun. So Ken, what are you giving Cloak and Dagger? Is it a pass, pirate, or pay?
Cloak and Dagger is also going to be a pay for me.
Wow. I'd have never guessed.
I really enjoyed it. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, there are scenes when Davey is driving a car and he's so small. Like, this is the kind of thing that you don't usually see in movies, where he's so small that he can't reach the pedals and look out over the steering wheel.
So he's just relying on Jack Flack telling him when to turn.
So he's like laying down on the seat so he can reach the gas pedals, and he just has no idea where he's going, and he's just driving as though he couldn't see, and
wrecking into shit.
He's just smashing into stuff. I thought it was really funny and really like. That's what would really happen. This is really funny. This is good
me and
stuff.
my brother had conversations about how we would drive.
Yeah.
We got a hold of like a parent's car. So it's kind of cool that they that is sort of cool that they put a lot of those like theories into like play. Like, like also goes back to it being like kind of like a fantasy for like kids.
Yeah.
They're getting to drive and like getting to shoot people with a real gun.
Yeah.
It really is the mule for like children in the 80s.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's a pay for me.
All right, so Danny, what would you give this one?
I'll probably give it a pirate. But if you, I don't know. I guess if you're a fan of like, it's so weird because like this.
Give it what you would give it. Don't look through other eyes.
Yeah, I'd give it a pirate. Yeah, I'd give it a pirate. It's not my favorite kids movie from like the 80s, but it was good. Like I would definitely like tell somebody to watch it. Like if they wanted like a fun 80s movie.
That's a pirate.
Absolutely, yeah.
I give it a pay, but you know, it was one of my favorite 80s movies when I was a kid.
Yeah. Okay, our third movie today is my selection, 1987's Back to the Beach.
Oh yeah,
directed by Lyndall Hobbs. Yeah, so this movie, I like I said, I was not a movie person when I was a kid, so I did not have a lot of 80s movies that I watched religiously, but this was certainly one of them. I watched the hell out of this movie when I was a kid. So what this movie is an 80s update of the classic 1960s beach movies starring Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello.
How many of those were there?
I'm not sure. I've seen two that I know of. I've seen Beach Blanket Bingo and Bikini Beach. Okay. And yeah, I mean, what these movies did is they like just exploiting teen culture at the time from the 60s, right? Like the reason I've seen Bikini Beach is because I used to work with a guy out here who was in a surf rock band in the 60s, and he told me that his band was actually in Bikini Beach.
With Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters?
Exactly. Oh, man, I do love that thing you do. But yeah, so his band, The Pyramids, was in Bikini Beach, and they were in it alongside other musical artists like Stevie Wonder. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's not just like weird one-off, one-hit wonders. It's actually like just whoever was popular at the time, and some of those people wound up being geniuses or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is just the 80s update. Like, what happens when teen idols grow up and are in their 40s, and one of them now sells used cars and they live in Ohio. So yeah, Frankie and Annette, they're in their middle age now, and they decide to take a trip, and they go to LA to they're on their way to Hawaii, but they have a layover in LA, and their daughter, played by Lori Loughlin, she lives in LA, so they're going to see her while they're on this layover, and eventually things spiral out of control, and they start reliving their old beach days. So yeah, this movie is totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
Thoroughly insane.
Full of cameos.
So many cameos. One of the first things you see, you can tell this movie. I mean, we talk about how 80s these movies are. I think this is the most 80s of all of the movies we watched.
I think Lucas is.
Oh man, this movie is like the opening credits with the crazy neon font and the horrible synthesizer music is, I mean, just screams 1980s. Just the way everybody is dressed. Oh my God.
Frankie Avalon's character in this movie must have been the character that Joe Pesci based his Goodfellas character off of. 'Cause they wear the same suits, they have the same hair.
They do have the same hair,
the same like machismo about them, like the whole like he's got like hot-headed and he's
I think somebody in this movie actually says at one point that he looks like an Italian loan shark.
Yes, I think Joe Pesci went, "How do I play this character?" And then watched Back to the Beach and said, "Oh, okay, that's my character.
That's it.
More psychotic."
I mean, like Frankie Avalon in this movie, everybody in this movie is very big. They're all playing everything very, very big.
Yeah,
but
it's almost like a Zucker Abrams movie for kids.
Yeah, it's really big. I mean, but Frankie Avalon is so over the top in everything that he's doing. Like his facial expressions and his weird line deliveries, and it's all very, very big. But yeah, so yeah, one of the earliest cameos is O.J. Simpson.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys are old enough to remember he had those. I think it was Hertz rent-a-car commercials where he picks up a suitcase and he's running through the airport to try to catch his.
Those.
Oh yeah,
and he's like jumping over like luggage.
Yep.
He's doing running back moves
because basically back then that's what OJ was. He was just a former football player, and he was lovable.
Yeah.
Everybody loved OJ. So this movie plays off of that, where he starts to do his football.
I remember
moves.
loving OJ in a Zucker Abrams movie.
Yeah, he was great, and he's basically doing the Nordberg thing from Naked Gun, where he's just like he comes into this movie and he gets injured, and that's it. Yep. But yeah, there are other cameos.
Dick Dale is in it. Dick Dale's in like a whole music scene.
Yeah, so, Dick Dale does a few numbers.
And
with
like
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan's in it.
Totally insane. Totally insane. Like the fact that Dick Dale is in this movie I had no idea who Dick Dale was when I was watching this movie as a kid, obviously. Yeah. And then Pulp Fiction comes out, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, Dick Dale is awesome. And he's like this super. In my mind, he's like an icon, a super cool, like classic musician, rock musician, like the god of surf rock, which is a kind of music that I really love, right? Yeah. And now to watch this movie, to hear him like getting dunked on by Frankie Avalon is totally insane. Like when they first mention him, he's like, and that's like, oh, let's go say hi to Dick, and Frankie's like, we could come back here in the year 2000 and Dick Dale would still be playing in this bar. And it's just like, wow, Frankie Avalon is talking shit about Dick Dale. Yeah. That's what this movie is.
Frankie Avalon is 84. I think I looked him up today.
He's like one of the only ones still alive from this movie.
Is Annette still alive?
No, she's passed away. Frankie Avalon, though, I haven't worked there in years, but when I was at the radio station, we would do a deal with like the South Point, so we'd get like all their shows, and Frankie Avalon would come through all the time, and we'd always have tickets for him. I think I may have seen him with Tony years and years ago, or
he's still
Tony
working,
Orlando.
huh?
But yeah, he was very much working, still around, still doing his thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know in the last 5 years that could have changed, but
I guess we should talk about the music in this movie. It is terrible. Like really, really bad.
I thought it was the best part of it.
Really?
Yeah, I thought the music was the best part of the movie.
Like
that's how shitty I thought this movie was.
Like Dick Dale, Frankie Avalon goes up on stage and he's going to play a song with Dick Dale and his band, and they play California Sun, and it's just like even Dick Dale cannot overcome the 80s cheesiness of the way that this movie the aesthetic of this movie. Like it sounds awful. Yeah. And then like there's a scene later on where Pee Wee Herman comes in and he sings Surfing Bird. Yeah. And that is terrible. Like
I thought that was fun. Fishbone, the Fishbone song.
Fishbone is there doing Jamaica ska sung by Annette Funicello.
That might be my favorite musical number of the whole
That's
movie.
fun. That is fun for me. I think that is. I feel like this movie is
Fishbone.
at its best.
No matter what you're doing, if Fishbone is in it, it's a fun thing.
Right.
It was.
And I feel the same way about Pee-wee, even though the song is bad. Like the Pee-wee doing Pee-wee stuff, and then somehow is he an alien? Like he gets on a surfboard and flies away at the
There's
end.
a lot of shit like that in this movie.
Really, really
there's
weird.
a weird Bob Denver Gilligan cameo. It's
Oh, yeah.
Bob Denver, right?
It's Bob Denver, yeah.
Yeah, he's in it, and it's like a weird. There's no reason for it other than
what? There's really no reason for it. Like I get like Gilligan because he's in the island beach.
Sure,
you know?
okay.
But what the fuck is the Leave It to
Why
Beaver
are
cast
Wally
doing
and the
there?
Beav there? Yeah, Wally and the Beav
And the mom.
they're all there to judge the big surf off at the end of the movie. It was like
what is that crossover? Like
totally
where was
insane.
the Beaver set? That had to have been somewhere in the middle of America, like Detroit or something.
Yeah, I have no idea.
This movie was. It's to this day. It's nostalgia porn for my parents.
Oh yeah,
like it's just all
of
the things
course,
they
yeah.
loved as a kid, and it's
My dad was a massive Annette fan.
yeah.
Yep,
well,
my
massive.
parents
I
too,
mean,
yeah.
so
Haley Mills and Annette. Those are my dad's like two ladies.
there's a running joke in this movie where just like everybody cannot stop talking about Annette's boobs. Like just like constantly. Like the first thing when they're on an airplane at the very beginning of the movie, the stewardess comes over and she's like, "You're Annette. That hair, that smile, those."
Yeah.
And then she points at him. It's like, but yeah, everybody is obsessed with Annette's boobs in this movie. It's really amusing.
And then who's the Frankie's sort of like fling that he was having?
Yeah, Connie Stevens.
Connie Stevens.
Yeah,
that's
she's
right.
another just old person who was in the beach movie. She was like,
She's in a ton of stuff. I recognize her from a ton of stuff back in the day.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this movie, you're absolutely right. It's just nostalgia porn. It's all it is. It's just like tickling people's member berries.
Don't forget, it's also a terrible movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bad movie. I did not like it.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's
It
not
is
good.
Not good. It was Disney Channel schlock. It was terrible.
It's not good, but it's not. I don't think it's terrible. I think it knows how ridiculous it is.
Yes.
And it leans, the spots where it leans into that, I think can be good, where it gets so bananas. Like at the end when Frankie is surfing the giant wave. And it's just like a horrible, like the fakest looking green screen you've ever seen.
That was so
like at
terrible.
one point, somebody jumps onto his surfboard to get an autograph. While
I
he's
thought my
surfing.
eyes were gonna roll to the back of my skull.
See, that's the stuff I enjoyed. And I also like there are a few moments where somebody will like break character and point out how ridiculous this whole thing is. Like Don Adams, who played Maxwell Smart.
Yes.
He plays the harbor master. And he's just basically doing his own shtick too. But it's at some point they're like trying to bribe him and sweet talk him into allowing them to have this party. And so they bring this like busty blonde woman along to meet him. And she's like really breathing heavily. And he's like, she's got asthma. Like totally like deadpan. This woman is like throwing herself at him. This is a ridiculous thing. He's like, she's got asthma. All right, let's go. So when stuff like that happens, I think the movie is good, and when it gets totally ridiculous, I think it's enjoyable. But yeah, you're right. This is not a good movie. I mean, I obviously my nostalgia had clouded my memory very, very much when I said that this is one of my favorite movies, because this movie is totally insane.
Pajama Party was awesome. That's one of my favorite scenes is the pajama party.
Yeah.
And then the Mad Max beach gang shows up, and that's
Right.
really fun.
Right? Yeah.
I love that they're just hanging around the whole movie too, totally out of place.
Yeah, it's totally insane. The bad guys in this movie are like, they look like Road Warrior characters.
yeah.
And they're supposed to be punks or something.
I think so, yeah,
But they're
like-
also surfers, and they just hang out on this beach all the time, despite the fact that they're all wearing black leather. It's totally nuts.
Yeah, they're like background to like all the like the Barbie type like beach folk.
Right.
And then there's like Mad Max in the background, which is just really funny.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, this movie is bad, but it knows how ridiculous it is, and I give it a bit of a pass for that. That's what I think. It's not terrible.
Not a pass score.
No. We'll get there.
Yeah, I forgive a lot of the corniness of this movie. Well, this is a movie my parents loved when I was a kid. And so I watched that movie a lot. Like it had been a long time since I'd seen it, but as soon as it came back on, it was all coming back to me. And I realized that I forgive a lot of it, partly because my parents love it so much, but also it is very like on the nose about like how corny it can be and how cheesy it can be.
Yeah.
So I forgive it for that. It's just a fun movie. It's like The Naked Gun or Hot Shots. Like it's like a corny like.
Yeah, I thought it was a little too saccharine for me.
Okay.
I like my over the top screwball slapstick comedies a little dirtier.
Sure.
And this was like squeaky clean.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. But there is one point, I think this was probably a big deal at the time when the giant wave comes and Frankie's out there on the ocean. He looks up and he goes, "Holy shit!" And it's like, I think that's probably
that was edgy.
Yeah, that's a big deal to have Frankie Avalon say this in this movie. I thought that's like,
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. So it's it's trying, it's doing stuff.
All right, so is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I think.
Yeah, I feel like that movie it plays really well in like Boca Raton, Florida, like the Villages. It's really still in theaters. And I texted my mom and I said, "Hey, we're doing a podcast and guess what movie we're watching." She was really excited to hear that we were watching that movie.
No, my mom listens to every podcast, and Ken does nothing but shit on Dolly Parton.
That's true.
Oh no,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
How dare you?
So,
it's true. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, Lori Loughlin looks great.
Yeah.
The kid,
Incredible.
their son, I think is funny.
He's really funny.
Yeah, this movie has stuff. It's not great. It's not good, but it's got stuff.
It's not good.
Yeah, but it has stuff.
All right, so Ken,
yeah.
What are we giving Back to the Beach?
So I gave each of your movies a pay. I cannot be so kind for my own movie. But
you're like those asshole senators that vote against their own bill.
Right. So I do apologize, Andy, to you for making you watch this movie because it seems like you really did not enjoy it.
Oh, I did not.
But for me, it is a pirate. I'm a pirate on this one.
All right, I am a pass.
Yeah, I think I'm pirate with this one. Watch it if you're into like any of the stuff if you like 80s nostalgia, if you like 60s like beach movie nostalgia,
yeah,
check it out. But if none of that appeals to you, then maybe pass on it.
Yeah.
All right, so there it is.
That's it.
Well, thank you for coming on, Danny.
Yeah, Danny, it was great having you.
I would like to be the resident 80s not guest, but let me be your I'll be the 80s guy. You guys have questions about 80s? Like 80s is my wheelhouse. So like any 80s stuff, I'm all in on. It's my favorite decade. Of
have you ever heard Quentin Tarantino talk about the 80s?
No.
And the movies in the 80s? He said that the 70s were a great time for movies.
Mm-hmm.
The 60s and before were a little too monitored by the censors.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then that kind of got let go in the 70s. And
Yeah.
the 70s got really good. But then there was like a moral panic in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And movies got really, really clean and really, not risky. And he said it was a bad time for movies. I get what he's saying, but I don't know if it's a bad time for movies.
No.
I think they worked within their means to still make good movies.
Right.
But I don't know that because I was just growing up and we all love what we grow up with, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you think about Back to the Future, right? Like that's a squeaky clean movie,
Mhm.
right? And it's very, very 80s.
It's indicative of the whole 80s.
Right.
The whole 80s movie.
You just feel Ronald Reagan's America all over that
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's still a great movie.
Yeah,
despite,
within their means, they did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think too technology and I think movie making got by the time the 80s hit, they were just taking big wild swings at fantasy and science fiction
Mhm.
and I think it was just I think America was big and brash and we're beating the Russians at everything and movies came across that way too, just over the top and just all, sort of on the silly side, but just big huge swings at different genres and I don't know. I think it was
right, but also squeaky clean. There wasn't a Godfather of the 70s. There wasn't a.
Or you mean of the 80s?
Of the 80s.
Yeah.
There wasn't a. I don't know what Pulp Fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
See, personally, I mean, I see exactly what you're saying. What Tarantino's saying. Quentin, I know you're listening, so it's always nice.
Quentin's a listener.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
Big fan of our show.
Oh, make a Star Trek, you fuck. We're talking about it.
But I feel like we didn't really figure it out until the 90s. But for me, the 90s are the ultimate movie decade, right? I feel like the 70s swung too far. The moral panic, while not being justified, is completely understandable, because I feel like once everybody in the 70s realized that they could get away with all of the things that they could get away with, they just went too far over the top.
Right, we pumped the brakes.
Yeah, it's everything is too dirty and grimy in the 70s for me. And then the 80s goes too far, swinging back the other way. I don't feel like we honed in on it until the 90s, which is when movies really get great.
Especially like the whole indie like explosion that happened in the 90s and how that steered movie culture. I thought that was really good.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. The 70s ran so the 80s could fly in my book. Like there's no better decade of movies in my book than the 80s.
Thanks for tuning in to Pass Pirate Pay. This episode was produced by the one and only Andy Morris. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. We'd hate for you to miss out on all the fun. Curious about where to stream the movies we talked about? Head on over to passpiratepay.com. We've got everything listed with handy links on where to watch. You can also join the conversation on our Facebook page or stalk our cinematic musings on Letterboxd. Links are on the site. Got a movie or a TV show you think we should review? Fill out the contact form, or, this is cool, you can even text us right through the episode player on our website's front page. Thanks again for hanging out with us. Until next time, keep watching, keep rating, and keep it past Pirate Pay.